Well, hello everyone. Let's get into our chapter 2 lecture video on understanding economics and how it affects business. So let's go. In this chapter, we're going to cover how economic conditions affect business, understanding free market capitalism, understanding socialism, communism, a trend toward a mixed economies, and understanding the United States economic system. Okay, let's begin talking about the economic effects. Businesses' success in the United States is due partly to our free economic and social climate, meaning that you have the right today to start your own business if you so desire without interference from the U.S. government. Changes in the U.S. economic or political system influence business success, meaning that depending upon the government regulations or restrictions that come from our political system, that has an impact on how successful one might be in running their own business. Also, now due to the internet and other factors, global economics and global politics also influence any business in the United States. For example, the most recent war in the Ukraine and Russia had a huge impact on economics here in the United States. So, what is economics? It is the study of how society chooses to employ resources to produce goods and services and distribute them for consumption among various competing groups and individuals. And we're going to break down that definition more throughout this presentation. First, you have macroeconomics, which is the part of economic study that looks at the operation of a nation as a whole. Then when you break it down, you have what's called microeconomics, the part of economic study that looks at the behavior of people and organizations in particular markets. So you think about macroeconomics, you're thinking the bigger picture, the economy of the United States as a whole. Microeconomics, you're looking at the parts of the economic study, such as the behavior of people and organizations within a particular market. Resource development is critical. It is the study of how to increase resources and to create conditions that will make better use of those resources. For example, in the United States, we're constantly looking at ways to create new energy sources, whether it's solar energy or other sources, new ways of growing foods. How can we make food safer, less pesticide, things of that nature, new ways of creating goods and services, whether it's nanotechnology, 3D, 4D print technology. We are always looking at ways to increase the resources here in the United States of America. Now, have you heard of a guy named Adam Smith? He is considered to be the father of modern economics. Adam Smith was an economist and philosopher, and he wrote some different works. He is best known for his work, The Wealth of Nations. Mr. Smith believed that freedom was vital to an economy's survival. So we're saying in a free economy, he felt that people could survive more. Want more on that? All right. The freedom to own land or property and the right to keep the profits of a business is essential. So what we're saying here is that if I have the right to own land and or property, and if I have the right to keep my profit, less taxes of course, then that's going to be essential to someone who wants to run their own business. Smith believed people will work hard if they believe they will be rewarded. Do you believe that? That people will work hard if they believe they will be rewarded? I consent to that philosophy by Mr. Smith. He also had what's called the invisible hand concept, the process that turns self direct gains into social and economic benefits for all. So what does that mean? So what Mr. Smith believes is that as people improve their own situation in life, they help the economy prosper through the production of goods, services, and ideals and charitable donations. So basically, he's saying that as people become more successful, he felt that's going to help the economy at whole. Do you subscribe to that philosophy? Some may say yes. However, poverty rates in the United States remains high despite the fact there are many successful individuals and companies here in the United States of America. Okay? So here again, more about Adam Smith, known as the father of the modern economic system. He believed that business owners are motivated to work hard because they know they will earn and keep the rewards of their labor. When they prosper, as the owner of this restaurant shown here, they're able to add employees and grow, indirectly helping the community and the larger economy grow in the process. I have a question for you. Think about it. What might motivate you to start your own business? Is it the ability to be successful? Is it the ability to help others and your economy? Is the ability to be a philanthropist? So think about what factors will lead you to start your own business. Okay? Capitalism. In the United States, we have what's called a capitalism economic system. This is a system which all or most other factors of production and distribution are privately owned and operated for profit, meaning that companies are going to purchase goods and services from other privately owned companies, not government organizations. With state capitalism, that's a combination of freer markets and some government control. So capitalism is here in the United States, England, Australia, Canada. In China, they have what's known as state capitalism, where they do have a free market. However, there are certain factors of the economy that are controlled by the actual government. Now, when you have a free market capitalism, there are four basic rights that you're going to have. Those are the right to own private property, the right to own a business and keep all the business profits, the right to freedom of competition, and the right to freedom of choice. So these are four basic rights that you're going to have within a free market capitalism economy. Now, how does the free market work? I'm glad you asked that question. Well, with the free market, decisions about what and how much to produce are made by the market. So, in essence, the market determines what to produce and how much to produce. So, consumers, that's you, send signals about what they like and how they like it. The price tells companies how much of a product they should produce. And we'll discuss in more detail. If something is wanted but hard to get, the price will rise until more products are available. So, can you think of a product that you wanted but the product was hard to get? And how did that impact the price? Did you pay more for that product because it was hard to get, or because you wanted it, you were okay with paying that higher price? Okay. So, how are prices determined? You have buyers and you have sellers who are going to negotiate in the marketplace. Now, a seller may want us to sell a shirt for $50, but only a few people may buy at that price. If the seller lowers the price, quantity demand is likely to increase. So if the consumers feel that that price is too high, they're not going to, you may have a few buying that product, but not many. The seller knows that if they lower the price, based upon feedback from the consumers, then the demand is going to increase for their product. Okay? It's called the economic concept of supply, demand, and the equilibrium point. Supply is the quantity of products that manufacturers or owners are willing to sell at different prices at a specific time. So, how much supply do we have? Demand. The quantity of product that people are willing to buy at different prices at a specific time. When those two come together, when supply meets demand, that's known as the equilibrium point. And we have graphs that will show these different concepts: supply, demand, and the equilibrium price, which is known as your equilibrium point, which is known as your market price. So, for example, let's assume that you are a maker of t-shirts. Okay, the axis here shows the price of those t-shirts. This shows the quantity of those t-shirts. Okay, this is our supply curve. It is showing the number of t-shirts that are going to be produced. All right, we're going to look at our supply curve in conjunction with the demand curve next. This is our demand curve. Okay, this is showing the demand for those t-shirts at a certain price point. All right, so notice that with the demand curve, it is showing it's going to the right. It is showing again as the price is going to decrease. That's going to impact the demand curve, meaning that a higher number of quantity will be demanded because the price had actually decreased. Okay? Then, when those two come together, when the amount of supply meets the demand, that's called the equilibrium point, also known as the market price. So look at here. You see at a price of $15 and at a quantity of 25 shirts, that's where supply meets demand, and that's known as the equilibrium point. So for those competitors, for the supplier, they know that based upon this graph, at a price of $15, the demand is going to be a total of 25 of these t-shirts. Okay, so that's just a simple illustration of the equilibrium point, the mix where the demand and supply curves meet one another. Okay, we'll talk now about different type of competitions within a free market, and then we'll come back with part 2 of our chapter 2 video. We're going to look at a perfect competition and a monopolistic competition. All right, and these are within a free market. Within a perfect competition, you have many sellers, but none is large enough to dictate the price of a product. The example could be the agricultural market, where you have many farmers who are producing identical product, but none is large enough to dictate the actual price of the product. Compared to a monopolistic competition, you have a large number of sellers who produce very similar products that buyers nevertheless perceive as being different. With this type of competition, differentiation is the key. Example, restaurants offer similar types of cuisines, but each has its own unique menu, atmosphere, and branding. So think about your favorite restaurant. Why is it your favorite restaurant? Is it because of their menu, the taste of their food, their branding, or the atmosphere? What factors led you to say, this is my favorite place to go eat? Okay? Good stuff, isn't it? This will conclude part 1 of our chapter 2 video lecture. Stay tuned for part 2.